And while I was there in my 7th year, I became the second youngest person of my rank in the entire Air Force. So my movement was swift. But when you come from
Hmm.
the backdrop of life that I came from, I'm not saying everyone goes through this, but I did.
Right. Yeah.
All of that stuff hadn't been dealt with. It was still in
Mm.
the background of my mind that I didn't. And the only
Yeah.
thing I could hear in my mind was, Frank, you're a fraud. They're going to find you out. You know you don't deserve this. So I started
That
drinking very,
imposter syndrome?
oh my God, yeah.
It got you too? It got you too, Frank?
Got me too. I think if you look it up in a dictionary, my picture's there.
I wanna kind of stay here a little bit because I find that so many people. So I actually had experienced this myself, and perhaps I'm still experiencing it. Who knows? I had a conversation with my business coach, and she brought that up, and I had not really. I had heard of it. I mean, and being in personal development, you hear about this imposter syndrome all the time,
Yeah.
but you always can. I feel like that's something you can always see in someone else, but you can't see it in yourself. Like, oh, am I experiencing? No, of course I'm not experiencing imposter syndrome. So I would love to, and I think that so many people experience it, right? I truly do. And I
Yes.
really want to like stay here for a moment. So you thought you were a fraud. So you came from you grew up a certain way, you felt like you were inferior. You went into the Air Force, you went in the military, and then you started accomplishing some things and, making a way for yourself. And you've had this in the back of your mind saying, I'm a fraud. I'm a
Yeah.
fraud. I'm just curious the how that even did you like was it an epiphany one day that you were just like felt that way or you constantly heard that and you knew that you felt like I'm just curious of how you came to that conclusion.
Well, it felt as though, really, and I know it wasn't an audible voice, but it felt like 24/7
Mm,
as I walked around, those were the messages that were being whispered in my ear. No one was
mm,
telling me that. I was
uh-huh.
celebrating, but I couldn't
Yeah.
reconcile my upbringing. I couldn't reconcile the whole space of feeling less than, and now
Mm,
suddenly I'm at this pinnacle of life, and
yeah.
people are looking at me in ways that just did not fit with my interior self. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these voices, they were just as real as me talking to you right now. Every day, Frank, you're fraud. They're gonna find you out, man. It's just a matter of time. It really is. You know it.
Mhm.
I know it. You don't deserve this. You shouldn't be here. Who do you think you are anyway? And those are the messaging that I was hearing constantly in my mind. So I started drinking very heavily to try to stop the voices. Because way
Wow,
back
okay.
then, there really weren't programs to help. No one called it imposter syndrome
I
back
know, right?
then.
That's the newfangled stuff, like, now it's got a whole term and everything, right? They
Yeah,
got books. They got
yeah,
books on it.
yeah, yeah. Now there's all kind of information that really
Mhm.
informs and helps
Yeah.
people to walk through that. Back then, it wasn't, Amber. It was just
Yeah.
simply, if you came out with this, and even in the military today, any semblance of mental disorder or a function really can hurt careers and hurt your movement and all of those things and your manhood and, and et cetera, et cetera.
Sure,
So I
yeah.
had no one to turn to. And once again, I want to be clear. I'm not blaming the military and I'm not pointing at
Alright.
anyone else. I believe the greatest space of leveling up your life and your business is taking 100% responsibility for your own movement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
yeah, so not that I'm just giving a narrative the way it was. So
Mhm.
between year 7 and 8, my drinking caused me to fall off the wagon so badly that when I got to year 8 and it was time to re-enlist in the military again, they wouldn't even let me. That's how badly I
Oh,
felt. So
Okay.
I sabotaged my Air Force career.
Wow. And you hear that a lot, people are like, I'm sabotaging myself and these kind of things. And that's where definitely the mindset shift has to happen and occur because, gosh, I forget his name, but they say it all the time that even if you start seeing success and you start moving forward in your life, that if you don't do anything about that mindset, that subconscious mind, that narrative that's in your head, it's going to self-sabotage you to take you back where you belong. And I did
Absolutely.
air quotes for the people that are listening, but where you belong in your in your subconscious mind.